Half-Life 1 is almost a perfect game, but it has its cheap moments. This is my personal top 10 of what I think are the most frustrating moments in Half-Life 1. Let me know in the comments if you agree. Number 1. Surface Tension Snarks Tunnel. Surface Tension is already a pretty difficult chapter, however, no amounts of marine, tanks or aliens surpasses the difficulty of this section where you are forced to crawl through a tight vent, and 20 or more Snarks start spawning and attack Gordon to mess him up. The tight space we are crawling through doesn't allow for quick maneuvers to get out of this crappy situation. Shooting the Snarks with bullets is pretty unreliable, and explosive are a no-go cause you will almost certainly blow yourself up. I always get mad in this section because I know it's not my fault when I die, but it's because of cheap level design. At least the game rewards you with the Snarks, however they're pretty useless as a weapon, but hey, they're cute. Number 2. Blast Pit Fall. I'm sure most of you guys expected this fuck this game moment as the first place, but I hate the Snarks more. Well, by the end of the Blast Pit level, which is already quite a tough chapter to navigate through, Gordon is happily walking down this pipe when it breaks. Here, if you're low HP, you will certainly die from fall damage, even if you land perfectly on top of the table with the medkits, which is bullshit. Many players will think that they got soft locked here cause their HPs are too low to progress and will probably cheat to get to the next chapter. To get past this dumb point, you either have to awkwardly maneuver around the ceiling or make sure to not miss out on the health and HEV chargers before climbing on the pipes. Bullshit level design here for sure, I'm not gonna lie. Number 3. Surface Tension Landmines and Snipers. This section of Surface Tension is pretty excruciating. You have to traverse through a minefield just like you previously did, but with snipers shooting at you. Snipers in Half-Life are pretty weird cause they're invisible and can only be killed with explosives. In this map, finding the right angle to throw explosives at them is pretty awkward, cause if you move a bit too freely you will get blown up by a mine. The last sniper at the final corner is the worst offender. The mines are an annoying threat too, and one mine in particular, the one at the final corner, always gets me. Sure, you can blow up the mines with explosives, but you need the explosive to kill the snipers, so you cannot really waste them. I don't know about you, but I always found this section pretty annoying to traverse through. But there is a way to cheese it, as you can see on the screen. It makes it much simpler and a lot less painful. Number 4. Interloper Platforming and Final Room. Let's get to Interloper, a chapter generally hated by the Half-Life community, and even though I like it, it does have its bullshit moments. The first island we spawn in can throw many first-time players off, cause there are some holes in the ground that propel Gordon high up in the sky, and yeah, the chances you will fall on the back of a manta ray here are very slim, and even if you manage to land on one, you will probably either die from the fall damage or get your legs fractured. Of course, if you land on the ground, you're utterly screwed. Sometimes I wish the long jump module added a small double jump too. I mean, why did Valve add these sphincter looking things, knowing that they will almost certainly lead to the player's doom, goes beyond my comprehension. Of course, the safe path is a different one, but even if you figure it out, avoiding fall damage while platforming is still pretty hard. Bullshit moment for sure. Then there is the final Interloper room, where Vortigons are happily waiting for your arrival, cause they know this goddamn room offers little to no cover for the Freemen, and so the Vortigons are free to charge their attacks and zap you to oblivion. Of course, alien controllers too gladly play their role, but the main problem here is the lack of cover. Also, being forced to stand still on the spinning cogs without any cover whatsoever adds to the sadistic aspects of this section, cause aiming while standing on these things it's almost impossible, and the rule attack is the best defense cannot be applied here. Yeah, I hate this room, it makes me feel like a noob. Number 5. Aiming the artillery in surface tension. I don't know about you guys, but every time I get to the final tense moments of surface tension, I always struggle to aim the artillery correctly, especially when I have to target the radio antenna. I feel like you have to be way too accurate to demolish this antenna, and the wonky controls of the HSU display certainly do not help. There must be some sort of collision or geometry bug, because I swear that many times I see the bombs explode 1 millimeter away from the radio, but the goddamn thing just won't fall down. And also when there is a gargantua trying to scorch your ass, aiming perfectly is pretty difficult. So yeah, this moment is very annoying and pretty dumb, I hate it, I always use no clip. Number 6. Losing your cart on a rail. For a first-time player, accidentally slipping off the cart and losing track of it can be a devastating experience, because now the player will probably attempt to wander around the railway tracks and consequently get lost in these mazy yet atmospheric sections of this level. The fact that the railways are electrified and damage Gordon if he steps on them definitely do not help. This annoying moment becomes less frustrating once you have played Half-Life for a long time, and may even become enjoyable if you know how to bunny hop. Number 7. The Nihilanth teleports. The Nihilanth loves to exercise his teletransportation abilities by shooting a big green sphere that will teleport the player to 3 different rooms. All 3 rooms are notoriously hard to platform through, and for players who hate platforming in FPS games, this challenge can be very annoying. In the first room, the strips of land are pretty narrow, and as a result, landing over them is pretty tough. Also, the geometry of the walls sometimes blocks the player jumps, which is annoying. Inside the second room instead, the small weird rocks are just very tiny, and jumping on them is quite tough. In the third room instead, we have to reach a teleport located right at the top of the cave. In order to do this, the player must know how to air strafe, or else it's quite complicated to reach this freaking teleport. All of the 3 rooms start getting less frustrating the better you get at Half-Life 1 movement, and nowadays I even enjoy them. Number 8. Riding up the blast pit fan. This fan is weird, and that is because as soon as the player turns it on, this fan starts spinning in a deadly manner way too quickly, barely giving time to the player to climb up the ladder. If you are too slow, you are basically trapped down here, cause there isn't even a way to turn the fan off. I think that the game gives too little time to the player, cause the fan becomes deadly almost immediately. I'm sure a lot of first-time players got frustrated down here. I still love this set piece though. Number 9. Vent crawling in We Got Hostiles. We have got hostiles, it's quite an exciting and action-packed chapter. However, the last section can be annoying because the player needs to find the right vent to crawl through, not once but twice. With a little trial and error, you will eventually find your way out, but still, slowly crawling through these vents, which are also unnecessarily long, is boring as hell. At least the game rewards you with some ammos, health and armor. I believe Valve should have added a brief scripted event inside these vents, starring the zombie and the security guard that got dragged inside these vents at the start of the chapter. It would have been a nice touch to make this section more engaging. Number 10. The Office Complex Elevator Shaft. I bet that every newbie player experienced quite a bit of problems when facing this little platforming challenge in the Office Complex Elevator Shaft. Ladders in Half-Life have a physics of their own, and safely attaching to them is already pretty difficult for first-time players. On top of this, the metallic platforms are pretty narrow and you can't really completely hug the wall cause at a certain point there are 2 more ladders to climb up, and maneuvering around them can easily make you lose your balance and fall to your demise. After 600 hours of playtime, this is not a problem for me and I couldn't replicate it in gameplay. But I remember that this part got me stuck for a good 30 minutes on my first playthrough.
Victory!
So guys, this is my top 10 of the worst and cheesiest moments in Half-Life. Let me know in the comments if you agree with my ranking and if you have found other set pieces more annoying than the one I listed in the video. I wanted to include the Forget About Freeman Snarks Ness, but since I had deserved the top spot to the Snarks vent, I didn't want to repeat myself. Like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video.